participated as well. I'm Pastor Tom Tufts. I'm thrilled to have you with us here today. And if this is your regular church home, welcome home. We're glad that you are here. And if you are a guest with us here today, we appreciate your being with us as well. If you're a guest, on the way out, we have a gift to give to you. Actually, we really do. It's there's an ongoing theme that if you're a guest with us, I'll tell you about when I meet you on the way out. But we have a CD to give to you of some music that was recorded by our worship team some time ago as they were preparing for a missions trip to head to Slovakia, and we'd like for you to have a copy of that. But thank you for being with us, and we are thrilled to have you stop by today. A couple of things I want to make you aware of today. One of them would be this. The youth today are headed to see the new Chronicles of Narnia movie, and they will be meeting here at the church at 3:30. The bus is leaving at 3:45. That means if you're here at 3:46, you're going to be left behind, which is another movie. But moms and dads plan to be back here about 7 o'clock to pick up your children. Something else that you might want to know about, we send out an email newsletter. I don't know if you get it or not, but it's called Friendformation. We'd love to have you on our mailing list. Something else I want to tell you about, we have a website, which is friendcc.com. You can now go there to register, pre-register your children for Vacation Bible School, and you can also sign up to be an adult volunteer. So head to the good old internet for some information. Something else I want to tell you about Vacation Bible School, which is coming July 7th through the 11th. We are having some folks from Gatorland who are coming on that Friday night to be a part of that week. But we still need, we're collecting these little paper towel tube things, you know, and we say we need 80 of them. My understanding is we have about 30 or 40 already, so we still need another 80 because we're going to have 120 kids. So just bring us a whole bunch of those tubes. On June the 1st, the Academy is going to be having a graduation. That will take place at about 3 o'clock in the afternoon on the 1st. And I'm hoping, what are you looking at? You. Everybody's... Oh, I'm trying to make a subtle announcement about cell phones. If you were here last week, you know why. Something else, but plan to be a part of that if you can on June the 1st. We'd love to have you stop by. We do have one way that will allow you to use your cell phone, and that is if you have a headset that looks like this guy's. We do have something coming up in June, July, August. We're calling it Cookout and Hangout. The first one is on Wednesday, June the 16th, and we promise you that this guy will not be invited to cook out and hang out because obviously he does not know how to light his barbecue grill appropriately. For those... That's just me. Alright, there are many opportunities for you. You can find out all about those either on the insert, the bulletin piece we gave you as you walked in, or you can check us out on the website. Head to 1 Peter chapter 1. That's where we're going to go in just a minute. Today's talk is entitled, From What to Why to Who. One of the proverbial questions is, why is there suffering in the world? Why do bad things happen to good people? And I hope to try to help you answer that today. We've been talking for this month, the month of May, we've been talking about worship. And we talked in the first week that worship begins and ends with God. We simply are invited to participate. Last week we talked about what is it to worship God in spirit and in truth. It's to serve Him spiritually by laying down our lives as living sacrifices and to hold to His truth. That's what we talked about last week. This week I want to talk to us as a family about our belief system. We would use the word theology. Theology. How do you feel? What do you believe about God? And what you believe about God will not only shape what you believe, but it will shape how you see the world. For example, imagine how difficult life would be if you just had east and west messed up. Okay, you wouldn't be able to find your way around. Or if you still believed that the earth was flat, or that the sun orbited around the earth, that those things at one time were thought to be true, but through time we found out that they were not true. So our personal theology will shape what we believe. And our personal theology is revealed by how we respond to our circumstances. And last week what we talked about was the way we live our life is our worship. So our worship is demonstrated, what we believe is demonstrated by how we live. That is our act of worship. And it's really important for us that we actually believe things that are true. It's important for us as Christian people, as followers of Christ, those endeavoring to connect people to people, people to God, to love God and to love our neighbor. It's important that what we believe is actually true. I want to tell you a story about a lady. Her name is Janelle. She's from Oklahoma City. It's in the heat of the summer, and she heads off to the grocery store. She does her grocery shopping. She goes out, puts the groceries inside her car. She goes on into a card shop because she's got an activity to go to, and she spends some time picking up a card and a gift and everything for this person that she's going to go see. As she's headed back out to her car, she starts to get in her car, and she can hear this commotion going on behind her. There's a police chase. And then there's some weird sounds, and sounds like gunfire. She jumps inside her car, and a bullet comes through the back window of her car, through the headrest of her seat, and hits her in the back of the head. She reaches back and grabs her head like this. And she can feel that her brain or something is leaking out of her head. And so she puts a second hand back there to hold her skull in place while she decides what she's going to do. Now keep in mind, she has not started the car. This is Oklahoma City in the summer. It's hot. She sits there and falls asleep with her hands like this, leaning back against the headrest. Somebody who goes into the grocery comes back out sometime later, sees this lady in that position when they go in, and in the same position when they come out. So they come and they get a police officer who comes to her window, knocks on the window, and finally wakes her up. And she's sitting like this, and the police officer says, "What's wrong?" She says, "I have been shot in the back of the head." The police officer says, "Well, we got to get you some help." So the police officer, "May I open your door?" Opens her door. She gets out, and she had on the back of her head the end cap of a can of biscuits that had exploded and hit her in the back of the head, and she was holding her head like this, thinking that her brain was leaking out the back of her skull. "I've been shot in the head." No, you haven't. You encountered a can of biscuits. And for you and I, it's important that when we look at our circumstances and the things that we believe about God, that they really, really be true. And see, I believe that before we leave here today, we can all find a place of stability if we understand the heart of God. 1 Peter chapter 1 verse 7 says this: "These trials," those things that we go through, "are only a test of your faith." Why? "To show that it is strong and pure." You see, your faith is being tested as fire tests and purifies gold, and your faith is far more precious to God than just mere gold. So, if your faith remains strong after being tried by fiery trials, it will bring you much praise and glory and honor on the day that Jesus Christ is revealed to the whole world. You love Him even though you've never seen Him. Though you did not see Him, you trust Him. And even now, you are happy with a glorious, inexpressible joy. Listen to this line. Your reward for trusting Him is that you will never have pain in your life. No. Your reward for trusting Him will be the salvation of your souls. God, talk really loud in the next few minutes and tell us what you want. And we'll say yes. Amen. Life is full of whats. What I mean by that is it's events and stuff. We all have stuff in our life. It's full of what? Some of them are good, some of them are bad. We all like the good ones, we don't like the bad ones. We do our best to avoid the bad ones because they are uncomfortable. Now listen, if we believe that somehow we can control our circumstances by how we behave, we're deceived. I could walk up to Jennifer and I could hand her a $100 bill and she could still punch me in the nose. Because I can't control my circumstances by what I do. Now I have certain things I can do that increase my odds, but I can't control everything. In fact, I can't control my actions, let alone the actions of other people. Have you seen I-4 lately? I have enough trouble controlling my own car, let alone the car of other people. And these people that think you can turn right from the 5th lane from the left, where do these people learn to drive? But the point is, we really do think that somehow, if I do this, then life will do this.